everyone, thank you for joining me today. And today I'm going to share with you how to create a Squid game. Okay, so let's take a look about this game. So there will be a screen show up and all you need to do is to press play. Okay, so yeah, so pretty much the game is if you press space key and then the player will start moving forward, and if you leave up the button or stop pressing the button, and it will stop. So when the doll turning back, then it means that you have to stop. But if the doll looking forward, then you can sneak in and you can press your space key and the player can keep running until the doll turns back. So this is the entire game, and then let me share with you kind of like some simple logics and something that I made. And since this is a little bit complicated games compared to previous games, so I made a lot of prefab. Prefab means that all you need to do is to drag to your hierarchy. For example, like you just drag and drop, right? And then it will start working, function well. So if you got the GitHub link, you can start to kind of like download the entire project and start putting the prefab inside the scene, and you can pretty much start working from here and everything will work fine. But if you want to create, modify it, feel free to do it as well. So let's start. Let's start with a simple logic. Okay, so yeah, this is workshop 9 and the topic is Squid Game, Greenlight and Redlight. Okay, so the game logic, pretty much at the beginning you hit the start button, and while we are going to put a loop here, while the game start is true, then the doll turns, start turning, every 5 seconds. The doll will turning back, looking forward, turning back, looking forward, right? So we kind of keep this looping. But if the doll's rotation is, looking back, which is minus 90 degrees, and while the doll looks back and the player is moving, right? And then, so the entire game, you lose the game pretty much. So the game start will be false. So you can get out of a loop, right? And player will be destroyed in 2 seconds. And then start quarantine, game over. So the entire game over will start running and break, which means that the entire looping is finished because the player is dead. Okay, so this is the entire logic. And let's go back to the game. Okay, so I want to talk about a little bit of how I constructed. First, I create a plan. Second, I make another plan which make it a wall. Then I look up some stock photos for the sand and also for the wall. And if you got the GitHub link, all the textures will be here. So feel free to make it material and apply to the wall. And also this one, those two I find out on the Sketchfab, and all the credit link I will post on the under, you know, the video, so you can take a look of the original one. Basically, I think I redid the materials, so everything works fine. But if you want to download the 3D model and kind of, you know, work on it or make it a little different, feel free to go to the link later. Yeah, so this is the girl. If you double click, right, and then yeah, ooh, wow, I feel like it's very serious. This girl is definitely, you know, yeah, you will stay away from her when you were young, like when we were in our childhood. When we see these types of girl, we will definitely, you know, stay away. Okay, so player, let's see the player. Yeah, pretty much I took a Lego man because it's very interesting and much easier. So if you want to make it even better, you can, you know, animate the legs, right? But I didn't animate the legs. It's just like, you know, this entire thing just keep moving. But if you want to, you know, make it even better, feel free to do so. Oh, so this is the camera, this is the light. And then the entire plan finish line is here, right? So yeah, Sapphire, I think, oh, those two actually was kind of like a redundant. You can delete it. And those are redundant, you can delete those as well. Yeah, so pretty much I put the start canvas. Yeah, so yeah, since our camera is shooting like around 45 degree diagonal shot, so that's why I kind of use you know, the canvas. It's kind of like screen space, but targeting on the camera. Follow the camera. So this is my strategy. And then, you know, once this player cross the line, it will trigger you win screen. And then once you know, when the doll turns back and the player keep moving, it will turn on you die, this like game lose screen. And then all the button hits to play again, so it's kind of looping back. Okay, so let's start talking about the script. Okay, let's talk about the player. Player is much simpler. Pretty much this script will attach to the prefab of the player. So if you go here, right? You don't really need a rigid body or a box collider. Why? Because this is pretty much being manipulated by your script, right? If you want rigid body, you need to apply physics. But according to our script right now, or game mechanics right now, we only need to go direct and manipulate by space key. So there's no physics involved. And we are not really trying to, you know, define a trigger place, or we don't want to collide with anything. So we don't need a collider as well. So the interesting things is that you can pretty much remove those two. Those two you don't need. All you need is this player script. Okay. And then as for this wood, this girl, yeah, you don't need a bus collider as well. You can remove it, and you don't really need you know, I would say rigid body as well. So yeah, so those will work. And what I did was I put audio resource here, and then there will be 2 audio clips. Later on, I will use the code to swap inside audio resource. So those 2 will kind of like play swapping, right? And then I put like doll look forward, doll look back. Those 2 kind of like the I would say the vector 3, the position. Okay, so that's it. So if you see this is the doll, right? Doll, yeah, it's like 90, right? But if you kind of make it minus 90, it just turned back, right? So it's all in rotation. So this, if the doll's rotation is looking forward, which is 90 degree, then the player can keep moving, right? Everything just goes star. But if the rotation is minus 90, then the doll will shoot the laser and kill the player, right? This is the scary part. So yeah, so we are doing the loop for this rotation to be 90 and minus 90. Yeah, so this is the rotation part. And then also we are going to put like 2 music, right? I kind of like listen to the YouTube channel, and I download the audio version, and I did some trimming. So I find out that this Greenlight clip is probably around 5 seconds, and Redlight clip is around 3 seconds. So when the doll looks forward, it's 5 seconds. When the doll turns back, it's around 3 seconds. So I use the yell return, right? So those those are kind of like the stuff. And also I create game object for win canvas if it's win, like the entire game is win, or the player is winning. And then if the player loses the game, which means that the doll looks back and the players still keep moving, and then everything will be you lose the game. And original position means that every time when this player goes to this position, and if we want to play the second time, it's hard to reset. So I made a reset position, which is minus 60, right? So yeah. So pretty much I put something similar to Game Manager under the doll. So yeah, so this is kind of the entire gameplay. Okay, cool. So yeah, so let's start with another scene, and let's start with creating another, kind of like helping you understand more about how to construct this game. And you can always download the entire file and play around with it, adjust it. So my goal today, because this I would say this game is a little complicated, so today my goal is to walk you through the entire script for player and dolls, and later on all the other small details you can kind of play around, and also you can download the entire work file and take a look of the entire file. If I kind of miss some small details, you can just take a look of the original working files from GitHub. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so let me create another scene, which is demo 1. Okay, demo 1. Okay, so that's create. Usually you can, if you want to create your own thing, you can go to 3D object and go to plane, right? And then you can adjust the length, adjust the wall, and apply to materials from here. But now, because I think the coding is more important than the level design, so I pretty much create prefab. Yeah. If you want to learn more about how to create, the level design, feel free to go back to the previous videos. There are some, more details explanations. So what I did was I just put the drag and drop the prefab Yeah, so pretty much it's there, and I will also put the finishing line, right? And I will also drag the 1, 2, 3 wood, the girl, and I will drag the player, right? The thing about this is that what I want to introduce you is that I think the player part is easy, but the dolls part is a little hard. So that's, I would say that's kind of like, you know, create another script. Just want to walk you through about the entire process of the doll. Yeah, the player, you can pretty much see the players. I would say the player. The player I didn't attach, but if you kind of want to attach it, right, it's pretty much here. And if you click the play, it will go back because I said, oh, okay, got it. Okay, so I didn't really wrote the entire thing, but it's fine. That's okay. So okay, so that's open door, and that's open the player. Okay, so V1 will be the new one, and then will be attached to more like the demo one. But for this demo, my purpose is to help you to understand the logic of the entire game through C# script. And if you want to learn more about all the, prefab materials, everything, if I have time, I can talk a little bit about it, but you can always go back to the previous video and watch it and get a sense of it, or download the entire file and start, play around it, or you can dive into each asset to see how I made it. Okay, so player, let's take a look of the player. Player, pretty much there's only one goal, is for people to press the space key, and then the player will start running to the X side, right? So let's see, public int speed equals 10, right? You can assign it or not assign it, it's all good. So we create a variable, and then as for update, we want to have a if state, right? If state, and if the space, the key code space is being pressed, then the transformation dot position, which is the current player position, will be transferring through the X position, and according to the time and speed, multiplying the time and speed. Okay, and then the Y and Z position won't change. So that's put like input dot get key code dot space. Okay, and then transform dot position means get key code, get key. Okay, cool. Okay, so transform the position equals new vector 3, transform the position dot x plus speed and time. Kind of like how this kind of being implemented to speed and time. Time. Yeah. Okay, cool. This is just the X position. Why? Because only if you go here, You see, like player only look at this number, player only run through here, right? Only exchange. Y and Z is always not really changing. So what I will do is minus 60. Okay, and those two will be 0, 0, which is the original position. Okay, cool. Okay, so this one will be Y will be transform dot position dot Y, and then this one will be transform position dot Z, right? Okay, cool. You can take a look. Okay, cool. Input the update. Okay, so let's see key code position new. Oh, I see. It's probably like this. Yeah, right. So this is for X, right? And this is for Y. This is for Z. It's like a vector 3. Okay, so let's take a look about how this works. Oh, okay. So our main camera, we need to go to the game object, align to the view, right? And then go to game object, click align with view. Then whatever you see, the camera will move to your viewport, and then adjust. Like the camera will move to whatever you see. So the next time when you hit the play button, you will see the camera will align to what you are currently see. So yeah, so we want to move the camera to here. Yeah, okay, so let's take a look. Okay. The variable dot. Variable, oh, okay. So it seems like we didn't assign the player, right? We didn't do that, but I kind of want to, start again with the entire code, so we can kind of delete it, and let's start with the player. Okay, so press space. Okay, so there are some stuff that we haven't attached any script, so we just put our new script, right? And the speed you can change like 110. I think 10 is pretty good. Okay, so let's try it again. Yeah, pretty much. And you can only go forward, you cannot go backward, because this is the game, right? Okay, so when you press the space button, you just move forward. Okay, great. So the player works. Now we are going to dive to doll, right? We have the brand new one. The first thing we want to do is to create different variables. There are so many different variables we can declare. For example, like the public int turning back degree, right? Public int turn back degree. We need to kind of define degree, turn back degree, yes, equals to minus 90. Oh, int. So it means that define the turn back degree. Yeah, we just we go to here, the doll, right? this is looking forward, but if you want it to turn it back, it's y, right, and minus 90, right? So